This is the hand of famous cricketer Imran Khan, and we see only one particular aspect regarding the marriage line, what people consider to be the marriage line. Uh, the lines under the fourth finger is considered to be the marriage line, and out here we are seeing one very prominent line and one very small line. You are not able to see in this particular image. We'll just browse to another image. Even in this one we can't see. It's a very small line that we see, and it's not, and we can see in this particular hand. What we are finding here is that the line is something like this, small line, and this is the prominent line. Both lines are good. The stronger line basically means strong attachment towards the person loves, and a smaller one is for a smaller duration of time, longer one is for the longer duration of time. As we see in his case, he has already married twice, and one lasted the age that is we see, if this is the heart line, so from here the age grows. This could be, let's say, around 2022. This is a little bit later, but right calculations we are not able to really make out by looking at these lines, and sometimes we might go wrong. His first marriage to Jamia Khan lasted for 6 years. So probably this is the line that we are referring to. This line is the longest ones, and the relationship lasted the longest period of time. So we can say that this is the line of marriage. And now he divorced, and then he married again, and he divorced, and it's a third time he might be marrying his spiritual guru, and it is not too sure, but what we can make out is that even it is the third time he's going to marry it, and we don't see any line as such. So we can conclude that just by looking at the area under the third finger, we really can't make out if there's going to be one marriage, two marriages, three marriages, or more, or no marriage at all. There are also many cases where I wouldn't like to give an example, but it is one of our past presidents who was never married, and he had three lines. So just by looking, and he never married. So in spite of having three lines and never married, this basically means that we shouldn't give too much importance to these lines while giving a reading. In his hand, what we do see is that in Imran Khan's hand, the famous cricketer's hand, the heart line is very good, which makes him a person who is stressless and performs very good when he's under stress. He also underwent some surgery, stomach-related surgery, and we see a overlapping line out here. So probably this could mean that. But most important, the surgeries or stomach-related problems are seen under the second finger, and but we really can't make out by looking by this particular hand. As far as more than one marriage goes, there are two or three things to look at. It wouldn't tell us directly, but indirectly we can say that will a person marry more than once or not. But even then, we can go wrong. The first indication is seen if the heart line, this is the heart line, it is starting under the finger of Saturn. It makes a person responsible, and it makes a person materialistic, it makes a person more physical. They like more of physical love than emotional. they're not emotional beings, but more of physical kind of people, and that is more important for them. It makes them very materialistic as well, and they are responsible with money and they manage money well. So all these particular aspects come if the heart line is starting under the second finger. So one aspect is this: when the heart line is starting under the finger of Saturn, the person is likely to want physical intimacy with a partner, and this is what they long for, and they might marry more than once, but not necessarily they would marry. The second aspect to see is the mount of Venus. If the mount of Venus is very prominent, these people are more sensual kind of people, or their sensual part of is more developed. In cricketers or sportsmen, this part, if it's developed, the mount of Venus is basically it attracts everybody towards. If it's developed, it attracts the opposite partner towards them. So he can attract anybody towards him very easily. The second aspect is that these people have got great amount of stamina, vitality, and love and grace. So all these aspects basically mean that these people might they're more physical kind of people. The desires are very much there. The prominent Venus basically means more desires. Desires could be towards a good house or a partner. It could be any kind. So having a prominent Venus basically increases the desires, and the person would not want to be left alone. People who are basically more of lonely kind is basically if the Saturn finger is too long compared to the first and the third finger, the person is likely to be more of a loner. And the second aspect is if the mount of Saturn is disturbed. By disturbance we mean either depressed, less padding, and too many lines over it, confusing kind of lines. Those basically are bad signs, or cutting lines like these over the fingers, even those are bad signs. And in that case, the person might just want to stay alone. The other aspect to see is if the Mercury finger is a little bit short. Out here, it's reasonably okay. Like if it's touching the first phalange of the ring finger, it is considered to be appropriate length. If it was something like quite small, then we can say that the person is not able to communicate. Because he's not able to communicate, that's the reason. He might not be able to attract a partner or communicate towards a partner, and that might leave them. Without being able to communicate to their partner. The last is if the headline is straight, the person is more practical by nature. The person basically lacks visualization skills, more of a practical and not a romantic person. If the headline droops down towards the mount of moon, that makes a person very romantic by nature, and romance is always there in their mind. Their visualization skills, imagination skills are very much developed. They could be poets, they could be artists, they could be any such thing. That's it for this particular reading. I just wanted to concentrate on one aspect on his palm, that is the marriage line, and if a person is likely to marry once, twice, or 3 times, or maybe never get married in spite of having these marriage lines. So that's it for this particular reading. If you like the video, click on the like button and do subscribe. Thanks again for watching.